Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, with the Quarantine Diaries brought to you by Skeins. And of course, today is Pajama Party Saturday. I have got my
Woo!
woohoo. We've got burgers on today. Woohoo!
Burgers. Mine are just black, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, they're kind of covered in a little bit of Bohemia fluff at the moment because I'm knitting something with Bohemia, so I got a little fluff shedding going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're black flannels.
So I hope you've joined us today in your pajamas. And of course, Pajama Party Saturday wouldn't be the same without Ethan Barclay
Good morning.
from Outlaw. How are you this morning, Cherub? Are you good?
I am alert and awake. I have been up since like 7 a.m. somehow. Don't know how that happened, quite frankly. I've had several crumpets and a hot cross bun, so I am ready to face the day.
Woohoo! Yeah,
Yep.
no, I set the alarm for 6 a.m. this morning because there's a
6
podcast.
a.m.
I know. Well, there's a so this is the problem when your time zones change. There's a podcast that is sort of my weekly indulgence on a Saturday.
Ooh,
But it
okay.
used to be 8 a.m. when we were in daylight saving time.
Right.
But now that we've moved back to regular time and in the US, they've moved to summertime,
Yeah.
it is now 6 a.m., which is, yeah.
This is the story of me calling my mother. I used to be able to call her at like 4
Yeah.
in the afternoon. Now I have to call her at noon.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
So, yeah.
And
So
it's not an option. Like I have to call her or she might see this. Hi, Mom.
I think I know where you're going with this. It's a bit like when I call my mum, but there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that time, so that I've been up nice and bright and early, and I've even had an hour-long knit and catch up with a girlfriend who, ironically, only lives like 2 minutes up the road, but of
It
course,
takes a quarantine to see everybody.
exactly, it does take a quarantine to see everybody, and we haven't caught up for ages, so we had an hour knitting away this morning. So progress, because you're knitting on something there that's not what you were knitting
This is not
last
what I
Saturday.
was knitting. So do we want to start with what I was knitting? Because
No,
I've got two.
start with what you're knitting first, and then
Okay.
we can go to extra. Well, no, start with extra texture because that's what we talked about
Okay,
last
let's
week.
start with extra texture. So I am still working on my extra texture pullover.
Yeah.
It is now actually joined into the round here at the, oop, there we go, here at the underarm. And I've begun the process of fading out the color by adding in a different shade of Little Bandit.
Yep.
This is a very attractive position for me, everyone. Hope you're enjoying it. And so what I did to kind of mask, and I'm going to hold it up a little close to the camera. What I've done to mask where the color change is I actually changed it one row before a cable cross right there. So
Ah.
that if you're doing this yourself, and I put it up in my little weekly What's Ethan
Mm.
Knitting podcast, how to plan out the color blocking, that I saved this tip for this morning for our live viewers. I recommend one row before you're going to do one of the cable twists. That's where you should change the color because then the color change disappears
Yep.
into the twist that you work in the next row. And it just makes for a clean line, but a seamless transition.
Yeah.
And because I'm doing the color fading by marling, by changing one strand at a time, the color just continues on smoothly, that beautiful blue from the tarnished in the Bohemia Sport. And what I have to say is the texture is really coming through, and it is much more evident on camera than it is in person, to be honest with you, because the camera picks up the shadows much
Yeah.
better. But it is a super lovely knit once you get past the, and not even the whole top section. It's just working this front portion here where you're working down the collar to create the drop. As
Mm-hmm.
soon as you've got that done, it is mostly stockinette in the round. And yes, I'm not going to lie to anyone, they are big rows in the round,
Mm-hmm.
but what else are you doing?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, because
Um,
because the design itself is very, very wide. So it's almost
yes.
kind of like a poncho, but in a sweater form, isn't it?
Yes, I would, and we're borrowing a term here, everyone, from Caitlin Hunter. I believe
Yeah.
she came up with it first. I would call it a swancho.
A swancho.
A
Ah,
swancho? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is
yeah.
basically a poncho with sleeves, which is just a sweater, so I'm not really sure why she felt the need to come up with a new name, but hey, there you go. Uh, Lack of need is the mother of all invention in this modern day.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, I am loving it. It is a really fun knit. And you can see when I put it on my arms instead of putting it on my body that it does actually have quite a bit of structure to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he did very smartly make these cable shoulders, which don't show
Oh,
up till after you've picked up the front and the back.
yeah.
They are quite beautiful and architectural because the cabling makes the fabric more dense and
Yeah.
creates more tension in it. It
Yeah.
actually supports the whole weight.
Yeah. Which you
Yeah,
need. Yeah. Which you need.
yeah, I love
And
it.
also, too, your yarn selection will help as well because you use Little Bandit double
And
strand with the
Bohemia
Bohemia
Sport.
Sport. So
Hmm.
Bohemia Sport is actually a lovely, beautiful, floaty yarn, whereas Little Bandit, which I'm knitting with as well, has got some nice, a little bit of rigidity
Grippy
to
texture.
it, and it's a little bit grippy, and yeah,
I'm really into the bandit yarns lately,
yeah, yeah.
but I'm a color work nut job, so I mean, you know,
Mm.
suffice it
And
to say.
so the other sweater that you're working, that I saw you were color working away with at the moment,
Yes.
what's this?
Okay. So, for anyone who has been into the shop, a little while ago, we did a top down sweater class. And one of the ones I recommended, you might remember the Alaska hat
Mm,
from Claire
yeah,
Descoteau. It was really, really popular, had those beautiful trees on it. And you used a gradient yarn and a solid commercially dyed yarn together.
yeah.
It was a beautiful idea that she had, just a great little pattern, cute little trees on it. Gonna recenter myself in the camera frame. There we go, everyone. Now you're, don't worry, your laptop was not slanted. I was askew, not you. Um, the designer then came up with a really simple top-down raglan that utilizes the same, there we go, that utilizes the same color work pattern. So they are beautiful little trees around the edge of this cuff. And so what I've been doing in quarantine is before I cast on a new project, I am trying to finish an old project.
We've all been
Um,
there.
yeah, so everything that has been on Work in Progress Island is coming off the island. It's reboarding the mainland and getting finished up. So I only had 10 centimeters of the body knit 2 days ago, and now we've got new trees blooming down here on this bottom edge, which is very easy to show
Ah.
all of you. So there's the tops of the little trees coming through now.
So what's that one called? What's that
This is
pattern?
the Alaska pullover. There we go. There's a better view of the tree. And it's really simple color work. There's nothing too complex about it. Now, I am not normally someone who separates the rounds of color work with markers, but because you're working across 24 stitches, and to make those beautiful points here at the top of the tree, you're working with quite a few stitches on either side.
Mhm.
I highly recommend putting the markers in for this pattern so that you can count evenly from both sides as you go, to really place everything in the center.
Oh.
And as per usual, I am neurotically trapping my floats. So all of those little ones that have the little V around it are trapped floats. And then these other sections, and then those are the little trees in reverse. So those are the trapped floats in the center there that kind of look like seagulls, and those are the trees
Oh, I've just
on the
put
reverse side. So it's a really fun little knit. I think it's turning out quite well. It's knit at a very dense gauge, but if you guys have at home some DK weight yarn in your stash, it
yeah.
doesn't take a huge amount of the two colors. And I'm not going to lie to everyone though, I am going to rip out the collar on this because I'm not terrifically happy with how I've picked it up, which happens occasionally. I think we've all been there with a picked
Mm.
up collar. Tragically, I had already finished the sew and bind off on it, but you know, when you look at the inside, it's just not as even as it could be. So I'm just going to take it back and redo it.
Mm.
Just like that. Won't be a problem at all.
And that is now. Did you do that in sport or did you do that in worsted?
So this is in Bohemia worsted. It's
Yeah.
written for a DK weight, but
Yeah.
you're working down on a 3.5 millimeter needle
Oh,
because
yeah.
the
Okay.
pattern is made to be quite dense.
Yeah.
So she wants you to use a thicker yarn at a denser gauge
Yeah.
because the initial pattern is cropped but not fitted. So it's meant to
Mm.
hang in a
Mm.
straight line away from the body,
Yeah.
to go well with like a high-waisted jean or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's the Alaska pullover by Camille Descoteau, and it has a matching hat because
Yep.
I also like to make coordinating hats to all of the things I knit.
Well, I've just gone and popped the sweater link in the comments for
Ooh,
everybody.
thank you.
Yeah, no, that's right. And it just, yeah, and
Very.
you're right. And actually looking at it, just when I pulled it up, it would also look fantastically well, I think, also in Bandit too.
Oh, I think it might actually, I don't want to say better because saying that while
No,
you're
it'll be
holding
different. It
Bohemian
will be
is
closer
different.
if you're somebody that like, you know how some people do like to have it knitted. Oh, I'm a bit askew as well. There we go. How you do like to have things knitted, like the imagery that's provided from the
Yes,
designer. I think
absolutely.
Bandit would give you something much, much closer to that.
I
Um,
agree completely.
yeah, yeah, it's really no, it's really quite nice. And also, let me just see if I can find the hat for everybody as well, and then I can. No, it's really nice actually. And in fact, Southlander would look great with that too, because Southlander has got that lovely sort of rustic texture, and it would look really fantastic with a pop of color from
If
some
I
very
remember
trees.
correctly, she did hers in the Knit Picks tweed.
Yeah,
And while I love some tweeted yarns, the only thing I would warn people about with using the tweeted yarns is they have those nubbly textures.
yeah,
And if they're a worsted spun
yeah,
tweeted yarn, those little nubs have a habit of ejecting themselves.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if any of you have ever experienced Barocco Remix.
yeah.
It's a
I mean, it gives the effect, just looking at the project she's got sitting there, it gives the effect with the tweed. It looks like it's snowing, which is really, really nice.
yeah, it is really pretty.
It is really pretty. But I mean, you could actually do like a heathered yarn with Southlander and still get a really lovely,
No,
beautiful.
exactly. And I was honestly kind of thinking the only reason I didn't do it is because I didn't want to have to write out the instructions for other people. I was considering doing like a sunset fade by
Yeah,
striping different yarns in the background behind the trees. So starting with like a pale gold and fading
yeah.
out to a deep red. But I honestly just got a little stuck on these two colors. Surprising no one who's seen my knitted wardrobe, almost everything is in gray and blue. And occasionally red and pink. There's a little bit of red and pink in there. But yes, so I am particularly fixated on these colors. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Now,
Deb,
what have you?
we will speak later about a color intervention with him, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea. Right. Well, I have great
I
news
don't
on
know
the
about
Ramblers.
that.
I've got great, I have got
Just
great
the
news.
disembodied voice in the background here.
Yeah, great news on the Rambler sweater. So I'll spin this around because that's the back.
Ooh, look at that go.
Look.
That looks awesome.
So I was talking about it yesterday. So what I have done. So as you can see, I think the Noro looks fantastic.
I think it looks amazing.
Yep, it's done exactly what I wanted it to do as my feature yarn. In
Yeah.
the pattern through that central row or round, she had bobbles in there. Now I have chosen to omit the bobbles
I
purely
support
because,
you.
as you can see from where the color work sits,
Yep.
one does not require knitted nipples.
Are
So
you certain? I
yes,
have heard that extra knitted nipples are all the rage.
yeah, as exciting that may sound, I decided that no knitted nipples for me, and yeah, so I
Mm-hmm.
admitted them. But to be honest, because I wanted the Noro to be the star of the show, the color
Yeah.
graduations have given me these really nice sort of stripes. I think through the center there, which I'm super happy with. I'm happy with the graduation of color. The color work pops because I was worried about this blue here at the top, the cove.
Right.
And it's fine.
I think it looks
Um,
great.
yeah, no, I'm really, really happy with it. And this is what I've got left over of those three colors.
Oh, okay.
I know,
Are
right?
you considering maybe doing a corrugated rib around the hem and cuffs?
I had thought about that. I did think about that. I will probably do around the hem and the cuffs. I think I will possibly just do like a couple of rows in like it just of the Deering and the Cove,
Yeah,
just as just a little splash of color.
that
But
would be.
then what I think I'll do is I've got enough there, I think, in a hat to just looking at the width of that piece
Oh,
of
yeah.
work that I could do a short rib with a
Yeah.
full whack of color work
And
and
then
then
a nice quick.
really sharp decrease
Yeah.
crown for a slouch beanie at the end. I think that's the way I'm going to go.
I think that would look fantastic. I'm a big fan of the matchy outfits.
Yeah, and just looking at where is the pattern? The repeat on the for the color work is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, look at that. It's a 12 stitch repeat in the color work, and see for a hat on sport weight yarn, 120 stitches.
Yeah, 10 repeats. Bam.
And also 120 stitches, when it, as we know, mathematically for creating a crown, is a really good number.
It is a great number because it's divisible by 6, 4, and
6, 4, and 10.
10. Yeah.
10, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got all sorts of options. I do love the double, like the pentagonal decrease, where you use 2 decreases on either side 5 times.
Yeah.
It looks so sharp.
Well, I mean, I think even because it is divisible by 6, I might be able to do it just on a 6 double decrease. I think that might work. So, because by the time I've done that color work, it'll definitely
the world is your oyster.
Yeah. So I think that's the plan. It's a sober plan. Chardonnay plan might be completely different.
Hey, your famous design house, Chardonnay, is very rarely wrong.
Yes, so
steer into it.
That's a plan there. So the other thing too that I'm thinking I might do is I think I might actually. I'm just doing a little bit of body work here. So I've mentioned in the past that I've popped a marker there, which isn't in the pattern, but I've gone and put it there, which is the halfway under the arm. I generally do about that amount in the body. Underneath the underarm, and then I start just adding in a series of very subtle increases
to give it a little A-line shaping.
Yes, to accommodate for one's rather generous posterior. So I will do that.
I also have to do that. I'm lying, everyone. I normally decrease the opposite.
Yeah. This is a man that looks like a gazelle in real life. So anyway, what I probably do is I will pick the stitches up actually here on the sleeves.
Yes.
And I'm quite inclined to actually knit my sleeves off first.
So I am a huge proponent of the sleeves first methodology, personally. As everyone can literally see, there are two sleeves here and no body finished. I just find that, 1, you're not fighting the body flopping around on you when you're trying to do the sleeve. And 2, it actually gives a truer fit when you're trying it on for the length of the garment, because when you pick up that sleeve, it sucks about 2 to 4 centimeters out of the length of the body. From that sleeve hole being giant and relaxed. And so then you're not using 7 needles at once trying to maintain all sorts of different active live stitches and But yes.
And that was sort of my thought with it too. I kind of thought, well, if I do the sleeves, when I go to do that A-line shaping, I will get a better and more accurate idea of how gradual or not I want to do that shaping, because sometimes I literally only add in, I always do them as a double increase, so sometimes I only add in another, maybe 3 lots of increasing, which is six stitches. So it's not a huge amount. It doesn't require being a huge amount, but you don't really know that until you try it on as you go. And and as you said, if I've got the sleeves done first, I've got it all fitted and sitting nicely here. I can get it situated over the girls, and I can see how it goes, and then get it doing what
I too have to often check on being shaped like a rectangle does have its advantages sometimes, because I can just kind of pop on anything and it works.
So I'm just having a Wendy's asking about the cowl. This Wendy so this cowl is a single ball of Noro silk garden, which is what this is. And of course my Noro obsession has been mentioned maybe once or twice before, and I literally just did a cast on, I think from memory this is about 180 or 200 stitches. Did a little bit of garter stitch at the beginning, garter stitch at the end, and all I've gone and done in the middle is I've just gone and just done a garter bump and then a yarn over knit 2 together all the way around, and then another garter ridge, and then I think it's 4 rounds of stocking stitch in the middle, and I've just gone and kept doing that again and again and again and again and again until it looks like that I'm going to run out of the ball, and then I've just done some garter stitch at the top and cast it off. Am I going to write that down and put it in the comments? No, I'm not, people. You're going to have to rewind that back.
Watch us again. We're better the second.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we've got there. Gosh, it's good. Everyone's up and at 'em this morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, Ruth, she's got Kiwi accent. Yes, I've got a very pronounced New Zealand accent. Ethan's is Canadian.
I don't?
Yeah, no.
What? This is news to me. We're working on it, everyone. Don't worry. It's, as the youth would say, it's installing.
Oh dear. I have to admit, you have picked up a couple of
very strong Kiwiisms. Yes.
Yes, you have. I've been
Yes.
impressed by that, actually.
It wasn't intentional. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but I was very like as soon as I moved here, I started working with a great smack of Kiwis. Immediately, because I worked as a baker here initially.
Yeah.
So, you know, some very rough early morning Kiwi folk. God bless their hearts. They're all still working hard for us all. And now I live exclusively with 3 Kiwis, none of whom have a pronounced Kiwi accent whatsoever. You know, our Deb and Malcolm and Neve, they sound like they could be from anywhere. No.
Thanks.
We're working on it. They're fixing me one day at a time, everyone. Don't worry.
Very good. Cos was just asking in the thing about will be Skeins closing again soon too. No, we won't, Cos. I actually mentioned it yesterday. We have just had an alteration to our sales policy. So we've been working with them obviously this entire time. Their decision making has been fluid, to say the least, and but we do have permission to continue to sell blankets. So the online store is still open. It just means that any yarn orders placed, and we've made that quite clear on the homepage, any yarn orders placed will most likely be sent out once the lockdown level has lifted to level 3. But we are able to do blankets. So yes, no, we are, and we do have that permission. It's all been there. So no, we're still very much trading and above board. Right, so that's me cleared the questions. Now, I wanted to also talk about, while I'm on questions and things that I want to talk about that I've seen on Speakeasy, the first thing I wanted to do is I did pop up a note this morning. Just a reminder, there's a whole load of new people with a Speakeasy. Thank you. Love to have you. Really enjoying everybody being there. But also, too, just a reminder, because so many of us want to be helpful at this time. But one of the things to remember is that if you've got a pattern, which particularly if it's out of a leaflet or a book or anything like that, remember that you're not allowed to photograph that and actually post that pattern in its entirety into the group unless the copyright on that pattern has been released. And generally, you will see quite clearly that the copyright on the pattern has been released, but generally in most instances there is a copyright over those patterns. So just remember that if that you can't share that, but what you can share is what the pattern is, if it's a leaflet, where you got it from, what the leaflet or catalogue number is, if it's on Ravelry, where to find it in Ravelry, if it's out of a published book, what the book is also really helpful, and even the IBSN number if you've got that, which is the funny little number. Actually, if I've got a book here and I can show you.
Above the barcode or below it.
Yeah, it is the funny little number there. That little number there is also quite handy because a lot of libraries at the moment, you can get a lot of the books like this are actually in local libraries. And if you can't find the book, and I can never remember the site, I think Ravelry used to do it, but there is like a library index. You can actually see where books are, search out which libraries have it, maybe your local library has it. Yeah, we've used that a lot in the past. We're really lucky in Hawke's Bay, our Napier libraries. One of the people in IT, his wife is an avid knitter, and there are also a number of knitters at council. So, and they have a very vibrant knitting group at the Napier Library. So there's both Napier and Taradale, and so the collection of knitting books at both of those libraries is actually top notch. It's really, really good, and they've always been really good at keeping up with current publications. So we've been very blessed like that. So when everything lifts again, you can hunt things out at the library. And of course, if you're borrowing it from the library, it's for free, which is just wonderful. So I've just popped that reminder up. The other thing that I've seen over the last few days is a number of people have been cross-posting from both Outlaw Lair into the Skein Speakeasy a certain hat.
Which hat oh, wait. I know which hat that could be. Now, everyone, I just need you to know I did not knit this hat. I have been very busy knitting socks I can't show you because they're on my feet. And, and several jumpers simultaneously because I'm insane. However, the wonderful Kurt Payne? Yes. Oh, I didn't even have to look it up. Has created this beautiful hat pattern that was available to some of our lucky people in the layer as a mystery knit along, and now is available on Ravelry. And Marie has the name of it, and I'm sure she'll pop the
Quarantarium, and I'm just
Quarantarium.
Quarantarium. I'm just posting it into the comments now. There we go.
So this little Art Deco stunner is an absolute gem. Look at that beautiful crown he has designed for us all.
I know, it's gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous. Takes 2 skeins, one in each color of Bohemia Sport. It makes a beautiful slouch colorwork beanie. This one, if you can believe it at home, folks, has not even been blocked yet. So just wait for what it's going to look like blocked. This is in Keepsake and Absinthe, but there are some real stunner combinations.
Yeah.
It has looked great in everything. I don't know if you had the pleasure of seeing one that was in Parchment and Trinket. Parchment, of course, is our perennially popular neutral.
Yeah.
And Trinket is one of my favorite colors. It is our bright poppy pink. And it is just a beautiful combination. No, I think Kurt has really outdone himself. If he's watching somewhere, or will watch eventually, Kurt, this one is incredible. Now, I am a sucker for the Art Deco, personally. Something about the Gilded Age just speaks to me. I don't know what it could be. That's right. Just wait till I come visit. You're going to have to take me everywhere because you live in the Art Deco capital.
I do live in the Art Deco capital. Which is why as soon as, after Clue 1, and I think Clue 1 got to the top of that sort of clamshell, that scallop shell texture, which of course is a huge motif in Art Deco, a really, really popular motif. And when I sort of saw that coming up, people posting those first clues, I'm like, please tell me he's done a deco theme. Please tell me he's done a deco theme. And then by the time you moved, by the time you moved into, I think it's either a daffodil or iris type bloom, it's just gorgeous. And with that cathedral shaping around each one, love it. Love it.
Now, I don't have Facebook, everyone. Fun fact. So I actually only got to see this take shape as Deb was knitting it pretty much. So it was really double exciting for me because not only were the clues a mystery, but the final everything about it was a mystery.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, I mean, color work is awesome because it's a little bit like paint by numbers. And I don't know if we've all been on social media more than usual. So I think we've all seen all of these random paint by number. Has anyone else seen the ads for the paint by numbers things where you like take a picture of your dog and they send you a giant, I've seen 3 of them. I technically don't have a dog. I just put up a lot of pictures of Kip. And the internet was like, aha, you need a paint by numbers kit for your dog.
Yeah, you can imagine how much I get to see then.
Oh God, but I love this because the mystery knit along, especially when it's a small item like a hat, can be a lot more invigorating. It only takes 2 colors, and most of us have a couple of skeins of sport or fingering weight. Or if you really can just wedge that gauge in there, you could probably get away with a DK as well. But
what size needle? I've got the pattern just sitting here.
4mm needle.
Well, there you go. So then on a 4mm needle, you can do that on a DK, easy peasy.
Exactly. It's a really flexible gauge. Kurt has just done a great job here. Gotta love it. Nice short rib, right into the color work. No muss, no fuss. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, look at that crown.
Yeah. I don't know what you think, but I just think that in Nyx would be incredible. Don't you?
Yes, but I mean, let's all be honest here. And I have some reference items because I figured we would talk a little bit about color work today.
Yeah.
Most color work in Nyx does really come up spectacularly well because it has that rippling fluidity from the silk. And also over the years, the color palette of NYX has been so harmonious that you can
Yeah.
kind of mix and match it at will. There's no need to really like sit around and go, oh, I wonder if these two colors go together. It's NYX, all the colors go
Yeah,
together.
they
Just
all go
grab some
together, yeah.
contrast and rip into it, right?
Yeah. And also, if you've got, like, if you've done a NYX project, that's the thing. NYX comes in 100-gram balls. So if you've done a NYX project and you've ended up having around 50 grams of each ball left,
Exactly. Then
mind
you've
you,
got
saying
it all.
that the meterage, hold on, let me just check. Because Kurt is so good with stuff like this. So
Oh,
what
he's
is
so
he?
precise.
He is very precise. So he is saying here 140 to 200 meters. Actually, so then that way, so that would be the total hat I am picking.
Yes, for both colors.
For both colors.
This is how much I had left over, and
Oh, hold on.
and the absinthe was a partial ball anyway.
The absinthe was a partial ball,
Oh.
and it is the main color.
Yeah.
And the keepsake was a full ball, and there is still, for those of you who are familiar with our balls, there's plenty of each left.
Yeah, that's low. So then that way, because that would be, I think that, could you imagine having Erebus as your main color, which is that beautiful, like dark petrol blue, with parchment or fog as your.
Well, the good news is, everyone, now that Marie has given me this idea, by next week, you might see what it looks like in a different color on the podcast.
Well, I'm sure after your cartography that you must have some NYX lying around. You must.
There might be some NYX hidden somewhere in my life.
Yeah, there you go. So I just think that
I do actually. So, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I hoard partial balls the same way that, like, and everyone's always like, oh, use your scraps to do this. And I want to stress, I support people who love to do scrap projects. I think you are brave, intrepid geniuses. I actually always have an ongoing, I don't know if you do this, but I keep like a Google Doc of all of the new scrap projects that come out that I think are worthwhile, with Ravelry links in them. So if anyone's looking for it, please sign up for the Outlaw newsletter, because Carmen and I are sending out 5 or so scrap projects a week, just for the next little while, to try to help people who are stuck at home and have got tons of partial balls, and you're like, what do I do? The answer is Stephen West. Because you can put a stripe in any of his stuff in any color, anytime, and it works out. The man's a witch.
You don't need to use the partial balls together in a single project. You can have what I'm doing with the Rambler, whereas the whole point of the Rambler, it started with a partial ball of Noro, and you can still see, this sucker has now done a cowl and a sweater, and it's going to end up in a hat. I'm not going to use it all in the hat either. This, this is just it. It would be the one project that keeps going and going and going and going.
There's like this children's book, and I can't remember what it's called. I don't know if it would have come out here. And it's about like a tailor who makes a baby a blanket, and then the blanket gets dirty and damaged, and then he turns it into a vest when the little boy gets older, and then turns it into something else, and he's like 30 and wearing this thing with a little with just buttons made out of the fabric from it. That's that ball of Noro. It's going to be every project till you die now. It's going to be like 6 years later, we're going to be doing this again somehow on our... Because, like, I think that we should just continue these Saturday morning chats even after the quarantine.
Yeah, well, we should actually.
What will the people do without us?
Exactly. Well, the other thing with the scraps as well, I know one of the things that you possibly have talked about pulling together is tea cosies, because we often talk about tea cosies, and I have a couple, but the one that I've got, and I'm just gonna, it's not actually and it actually fits beautifully in this theme. I'm just going to pop it in the comments. Is this one here, and this is an Erica Knight pattern. I knitted this like a million years ago. I know, there's a blast from the past, isn't there? And actually, Erica Knight, I just jumped on her Ravelry page. She's like Nora Gone. She's just prolific, and there is a you go back through a lot of the designs, and they're so classic.
She's one of those designers that's so smart with math that, like, I've heard it rumored, everyone, that all she does is sketch and knit a swatch, and then she draws it out on graph paper, and she just uses the math to do each size.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Incredible, right?
Yeah, and this is one, and it's called the Stash Busting. I think it's called Stash Busting Tea Cozy. I just put the Ravelry link just because I got this. There we go. More Stash Than Cash Tea Cozy, it's called. And I did this because I had I've always just
They
like had
turned out beautiful.
a vase full of little scrappy bits. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what I've done here. Oh, here we go. Sarah said, I did 4 repeats of the hat with naked machine washable wool DK. Great that she dyed up. She did 45 grams of the dark and 33 grams of the light. So that is a really good tip if you're
Thank you.
wanting to use NYX. So you need around 45 for the main color and 33 for the manic, because the yarn that she used in the meterage on the NYX is almost identical. So thanks, Sarah.
Perfection.
That's really, really helpful. Yeah, so that's that. So the front half of what I did, the striping, I
I
actually
love
did,
it.
in terms of proportion, I did how she'd done it. And then on the back, she just had a single
Ooh,
color,
buttons.
and she had like just a little, she put it like a little flower there. I didn't want to do that. So I've gone and done this, and I've done a little bit of button embellishing there.
Look at you go.
I know. And so it's designed to go over a teapot and then a caddy, and like if you're bringing things out on a tray, and
Yeah.
often too, some people do have stuff in the teapot and then have a second pot for hot water. So this has sort of been designed that it can go over 2 small pots and cover both of those. Now, in order to make it nice and thick and warm, it is actually fully lined.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. That is an incredible tea cozy. I'm very impressed right now. I've never made a tea cozy. Perhaps I should change that.
Yeah. So and it was funny because I had to go and dig this out. Was this being used as a tea cozy in my house? No, it was in my fiber stash, and it actually had bumps of beautiful fiber from Heavenly Wools inside it. So I've had to actually take those out in order to bring the tea cozy in to show you. But it's really satisfying. And as you can see, it's just a simple thing to knit. But because of the double layering, it keeps the warmth in. But the other one, in terms of knitting tea cozies, I did one years ago across the night, across polling night on an election night. Now, I have lots of weird fascinations, and one of those for me is politics, not only New Zealand politics, but also politics around the world. So I do.
We actually share that weird fascination.
We do. You and I have discussed this before, and so I've often will sit down and watch the results for nations coming in. I just find it very interesting. I know, crazy. Call me crazy. Anyway, one night I was a New Zealand election, and this would probably be at least 12 years ago, and I had a friend who wanted a tea cozy. And if you go back onto my Ravelry projects page and dig all the way down, you'll find it. It was green. I'd had some, I think it was some wool crepe yarn, which was in the stash. Had a couple of balls of that, and I just did a really simple cabled tea cozy. So I did it in the round, made sure, and then I obviously went backwards and forwards in a couple of. In fact, actually, how did I do it? Oh yeah, I know how I did it. I think I actually seamed it up one side. So I did it I worked it flat. So I worked it flat.
Yeah.
And then left a hole for the spout, and then sort of worked flat, and then picked up, then worked flat, then joined it back again, kept going, and then just seamed it so it went around the handle part, which was the big portion, and then just put a drawstring in at the top. But it got me thinking, I'm going to probably talk about this a little bit more. But if you've got an Aran knitting stitch dictionary, these sorts of things are brilliant for tea cozies, because you can go through and pick out something like that. Yeah, or even things like here we go.
If anyone has that Japanese stitch Bible at home too, it has some great ones in it for that. I have it's the exact one. Mine's out in the sleep out. Look at us go. Next week we'll be wearing matching socks somehow, everyone. Now,
I mean, look at these though. Look.
Oh,
I know.
God, I love them. And, there are, I am not much of a crocheter. I need to confess, but there are some absolutely bonkers, incredible crochet tea cozy stash busters that I have been looking at, because I am considering learning how to crochet better, everyone. That's right. I don't know how it's going to go. I should be honest with all of you right now. There might be a little bit of a hissy fit of me throwing down the hook and storming off into the night. But I'm gonna give it a good old try next week.
You'll have to tune in next week because I've actually going to have Sophia Moores Kennedy, who's been our crochet tutor at Knit August Nights for years. She's coming on Quarantine Diaries, and she's going to share some of her expertise with us, and hopefully I'll be able to get her back more than once before
that'd be
Diaries is
amazing.
over. So like this is another one here. This is one that I picked up. I mean, we've all got something like this. We've all got one. But see, textured stitches like this one here work fantastically well,
Yeah, and they do help with that insulation factor as well, because they build the thickness of the fabric up a little.
Yeah,
so they're another great thing for that.
And don't discount the old garter stitch stripes. Garter stitch is great for tea cozies because of that insulation factor. You've got, because it needs to be sort of thick enough to keep things warm.
Yes.
So don't discount things out. So it's it's so funny. I was really pleased that I pulled this one out. Now the other thing that I like particularly about this one as well is that it also has a couple of pages of stitched motifs. So knitting.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
For embroidering on afterwards, how beautiful!
Yeah, and we had Susan Hagedorn, who's one of my tutors for Can. She's very big into this, and she has done some incredible and duplicate stitch too. So with this one, here's another one. We've got charts here, which could be done in Tarsia, but it doesn't need to be done in Tarsia.
No, you can duplicate stitch, and the duplicate stitching does not take nearly as much time as you think.
No,
it's very, very quick.
Very quick, and here we go. And look at that.
So cute.
Exactly.
Oh.
So it's there are some really, really cute things that can be done, and it's just a matter, I think, of sometimes of shaking yourself out of that funk and shaking yourself out of that funk and going, oh, actually, what can I do with those scraps? And as we mentioned before, it doesn't have to be. I mean, you could challenge yourself and go, right, I'm going to do everything in scrap yarn, but you don't need to. Like sometimes you can just
use a stripe of it here and there.
Yeah. And you might just have that little bit of something, and quite often that little bit of something will be something that was a little bit special. I love yarns like that. You'll have that yarn, something that had like some lurex through it, or it has some stellina and sparkle, or it was a crazy print, or it might have been a
dangerous,
really a passionate yarn affair that you had at a show. You bought that single skein of incredibly expensive hand-dyed yarn and you knitted something with it, and you ended up with that
little tiny bit,
10 or 15 gram nugget of it, which you cannot throw away because that skein cost $1
million.
Going out on the town for dinner, that kind of thing. So that take inspiration from those pieces. I love doing, and that's exactly what I did with those.
That is a great way to use up those skeins as well, is doing decorative bind-offs with them.
Yeah.
Like if you're making a bigger project and you want to add something special, like we've talked extensively about the I-cord bind-off, doing an I-cord bind-off or cast on, because you can do it in a different weight of yarn. I think that's something people don't take into account. Just adjust your needle size, or if you need to hold the yarn double. And do a beautiful decorative contrasting bind off or cast on. An applied picot cast off always looks beautiful on so many different very feminine garments as well.
Hold the phone caller. I think I've got climbing over into my little bag of tricks in here. I have got, here we go. It's not the greatest example, but it is a I can hear the recycling has arrived. That would be a really great example of it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Oh, yes. Gil, I am wearing the Excuse Me hat by Stephen West.
We love it.
I do love it. I have, flower pot tea cozy. That's incredible.
Wow.
And that is the coolest thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And is it Leonie Pryor? She was a she's a massive tea cozy person. In fact, she's got I've got one of her tea cozy books, which is at the shop. I think she's done about 2 or 3. And it's about gathering those inspirations. The other great thing for tea cozies too, I talked a couple of days ago about when good knitting or crochet goes a bit awry in the
Oh.
washing machine.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Now, if you have that happen and you have that sweater or you have that project that's gone in, so this is, I mean, I'd made a bag out of this.
Yes. I was going to say, just, get the sewing machine out.
But see, this is the thing with this felt. Once it's felted like this, you can cut it quite readily. So,
Yeah,
so something like this, for
absolutely.
example, I mean, this is knitted, but if you had that sweater that's gone in, been completely felted, you can cut out this shape in this knitted felt,
Yeah.
and then all you
just
need
sew
to
it
do
together.
is embellish.
Absolutely. And that is the other thing to remind people about, as you're working through, like there are felted and fold options out there. If you've got natural wool at home and a top loading washing machine, a use for those top loaders, you can go ahead and fold your own stuff as you go.
Yeah, and see, I have a front loader, and it's really challenging. I mean, I have to work really hard to felt shit in my house, but boy, I manage it. You'll be amazed at what I can felt.
You know what? Just go down. If you have a riverbank within walking distance of your house, maintain that social distance. Go down there, grab some rocks, and just, or I don't know if you've seen this. I recently saw this on a friend's Instagram account. She, during this quarantine, has been sea felting.
What?
Yeah, sea felting. So she has knit large swatches.
Yeah.
And on a knitting machine using some 100% natural wool, and she lives literally right on the ocean.
Yeah.
And she has gone out and weighed them down with rocks onto large rocks at the ocean and has let the waves felt them.
Go.
And now she's using it as fabric. Isn't that
honestly, the neighbours already think I'm mad enough. Could you imagine if I go and do that? Oh my Lord. It
could be the new thing. It could be the new thing.
I can see it now. I will get the people that run the neighbourhood watch for Ahuriri live about 20 or 30 meters down the road from me. I can see it now. John will be giving me a phone call going, Marie, I've had some reports of very strange behaviour. What are you doing at the seashore? Just felting some yarn, John.
I'm making fabric. Help me.
Making fabric using ocean waves. I can see it now.
Look, quarantine has brought us some weird stuff, people, but I thought that one was deeply amusing.
Oh, that's so funny.
Right, though? Sea felting.
Sea felting. Well,
for those of you who live right on the ocean without neighbors, give her a go. Let us know how it goes. We're interested to hear the results.
Serious.
Just make sure that you weigh it down very well. That's her one instruction. She has had a lost piece.
We have, because we've got quite a bit of a swell coming. Well, it's just calmed down now, I think. But I think it's been from Cyclone Harold. And so the swell has been coming in from that side. And it's been, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, you missed your chance. You're going to have to wait for the next cyclone now. Yeah. And then get that sea felting going.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh,
so funny. That's hilarious.
We are at the midpoint of the trees, everyone. Whew. So close.
We're getting there. There. Well, we've still got, this week coming up, as I mentioned before, I am going to be talking to Sophia. I'm really excited about that.
Amazing. Those crocheters deserve our love.
Hoping that we can pin that down for Wednesday or Thursday. And I am going to also be talking to, and I will remind him, he has said yes, but I just will give him a nudge, Tom from Tarnwan Court Homestead in Victoria, or Tarndi as it's known. And it's a family-run farm, and his family have been on that land since the early 1800s, and they are the people that created they are the foundation creators of the Polwarth breed of sheep,
which we are massive fans of.
So I've said to Tom, because it'll be sort of 8 or 9 in the morning when we're talking to him, so I've said to him to put his fluffy slippers on from the homestead there and come and join us for a chat.
How was your catch up with Mr. Berg last week?
We did. We had a wonderful catch up with Stephen and Mama Krista. And actually, if you haven't, I should find the link and put it on here for everybody. He posted the most brilliant video this morning. So Mama had found him and I had been talking about we actually called up before we went live for a good half hour so we could have a huge big catch up and a chat. I haven't spoken to him for about a week or so. And so we were having a good old catch up, and Mama had found her, it was probably from the 60s or 70s. It was a formal gown, and it was this floral fabric, sort of in that wasn't silk, but it was that sort of synthetic sort of silk to sheen type, almost she fabric, and this beautiful vibrant floral print, and it was all shaped and box pleated and puffs. It was a work of art. It really was. It was amazing. And
God bless the 70s.
Yeah, and so she'd found this gown, and anyway, this morning she was wearing the gown, and because it still fit, and she had the gown on, and she was in her chair, and they were having a great catch up this morning. It was really, really sweet. So but it was really good to catch up with him. I mean, because he's at home, they are still able to do some trading over there. Their laws for online business haven't been as stringent as our ones here in New Zealand, but he has been at home with his mum, and it's really, I mean, he's really amazing because he cares for his mum at home.
Yeah.
And she's 89.
Wow.
So it's, he's looks after her, and so that was really sweet. So we had a really, really, really lovely catch up. So it was really good. But
awesome.
Well, I'm going to, gosh, you and I have no trouble talking up a storm. No, so for Easter, we're now going to do our annual or our daily dog walk.
Excellent.
Oh, I said the W word and someone's asleep on the mat. He didn't hear it.
That's
good. We're going to go and do that, and then tomorrow, we're just going to chill out for the rest of Easter, and I hope everyone else is having a really nice Easter as well.
Yes,
with the big Easter
hope you all enjoy it.
Hey, isn't it intriguing though? Here's a thought for everyone. Isn't it intriguing? This will be the first time ever where our news is not dominated by the Easter road toll. I think will probably be one of those very rare occasions where there will be no fatalities on the road. Fingers crossed. And I just think that
what a blessing.
That will be a blessing. So it's just so nice to stay at home. Stay at home, be kind, enjoy everybody. And I will catch up with Ethan next week. Oh, breakfast bourbons, my friend. When is it?
Breakfast bourbon tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
The Easter edition. Deb and Ethan, drunk and chatting live.
9:30?
9:30.
9:30.
You can catch us here. It'll be a good time. Find us on Facebook. Come hang out. Say hello. Bring your own drinks. You've got nothing to do on Monday.
And that is the Outlaw Lair, of course. So come and check them out there. You and I will catch up again next week. I'm sure. I actually think we might need to dive into some Stitch Bibles next week. I've got a funny feeling that could be fun.
I think that will be very fun. So just as a fun note, I'm embarrassingly going to have to show everyone my Stitch Bibles because they're all on my Kindle.
That's okay.
Which is weird. Oh, good. Luckily, Deb has an extensive collection as well. So this is going to get super fun.
Yes. No, I think we need to do that. And also, because I'm going to have to now dive back into my cupboards and actually dig out probably all the little blocks and stuff that I've done from, because I'm one of those people. Oh, look at the trees. Look.
They're coming.
They're coming. They're coming. Very good.
So funny. As we all know, as soon as you get to the color work, things just fly along.
All right, everybody. Remember tomorrow, Outlaw Lair, 9:30 for breakfast bourbons. You'd think I've been having breakfast bourbons this morning. 9:30 for breakfast bourbons with Ethan and Deb. I will be back tomorrow at 11. Have a great day, and until then,
take care.
Stay safe, stay strong.
Bye.